time you're on the show, you were, I can't remember if you were on your way to or you had just returned from some kind of four-wheel drive off-the-road exploration thing.
You remember that?
Hey, we're in Nova Scotia somewhere?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I'm amazed, first off, that you remember that, because that was, what, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, and you were also telling me at the time that you were thinking about buying some land in Nova Scotia.
That's right.
And
That's
right. We'd taken off for 3.5 months to just to get away from it all, and I didn't want to have to deal with a lot of people, so we decided to go to Nova Scotia in the middle of winter. We were prepared for cold. We were not prepared for Canada's cold. It was so cold, I can't tell you. We had all of our goose down and everything, but I don't think we were really prepared for, and we were camping out at the
You were going to sleep out in the wintertime in Nova Scotia?
Yeah. That was probably one of the dumbest things that we...
Did you ever sleep out?
Oh, yeah. We had no choice. We did do one thing every weekend. That was what we called our bath night. See, when you're camping, you know, in the winter, out in the middle of nowhere, you don't... You take a bath every Saturday night, whether you need it or not. But every Saturday night, that would be a television in our bath night. But by and large, we slept right out in that cold, and it was cold.
Who was on the trip?
A good friend of mine, Robert Pratt, and his wife, and we had 2 Land Rovers, and we kind of safaried up there. And we got as far as Newfoundland, and the Newfoundlanders thought we were crazy, but they were so impressed with, they would see our California plates, and they were so impressed that we were doing that they would literally, and I have never experienced this before in my life, walk up to us on the street, didn't know who we were, but invite us to their homes for dinner.
Really?
And I've never had that happen.
Did you go?
No. No, I take it back. We did go. We went 2 or 3 times, but what we were trying to do, we were running out of time, and we wanted to get as far as we possibly could before we had to go back. And so we did take one person up on it, but had we done that, we would have spent all of our time in Newfoundland, and then ultimately we would have had to have flown back.
But you actually drove from California to Newfoundland and then all the way back from Newfoundland.
Right, and then we cut across, we came down, I think, on the way back we went all the way straight across Canada and then came down around Alberta. Just east of the Rockies, and then came down. But we spent most of our time in Canada. It was wonderful.
What was the first series that you did? Was it Emergency?
Right, it was Emergency. It really put me on the map. I had done about 35 shows before that, but then Emergency came along, and all of a sudden it put us all on the map. And my career is really due to Emergency.
And it happened very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it happened real quickly.
Did you have any trouble handling that immediate success syndrome?
I had a lot of trouble.
Now, people don't realize. People think, hey, you know, series goes on, it becomes a success, and great. Suddenly, you know, the paychecks are regular. You know you're going to work for the next few years.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of visibility and recognition. Probably use that as a springboard to get to something else. But the pressures are enormous. What kind of pressures did you experience that first year?
Well, first off, I was really young, and I was rather immature about the whole thing. And I thought that, as a kid, I thought, that's what I want. I want the recognition. I want to be able to walk down the street and have people say, hey, aren't you Randolph Mantooth? But that wore thin really quick. The price you pay is a great price. And the price you pay is literally your privacy is gone. You can no longer walk down the street and try to be a normal human being. Like, for instance, I couldn't go to grocery stores anymore because I'd be pushing the cart. This is my bachelor days. I'd be pushing the cart down the aisle, and these kids would be right behind me, and they would be saying, oh, look, he's buying mayonnaise, you know? It just seemed strange to me, and all of a sudden, I started having a reversal of, I didn't want that popularity, which was really strange because all my life, that was what I thought I had wanted.
But nobody ever knows what to expect.
No, and I'm sure that my situation is different from other people's. They probably have a different set of problems. That was primarily my problem, is that I was very immature, and in a certain way I handled my career at that point in time in a very immature way. But then after a while you start to take things for granted, and you start not being so idealistic, or this is the way my life should be, and you start accepting that whatever good thing you get, you got to pay for it.
Right. Is your wife an actress?
Well, yes, she will be pretty soon. She is, but she's getting into the business probably more and more now. It's funny because I see myself in her, and I see her thinking the same thoughts I was thinking. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So you can tell her, but there's really nothing you can do. You just have to let her hit her head against the brick wall and experience it herself.
How long have you been married now?
Let's see now. July the 1st, about a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Have you run into any problems because you're both actors, and you're obviously the busier of the two? Has that ever created any kind of problem?
No, not so far. But
I mean, you're not directly competitive with one another, but two actors living under the same roof who are married to one another, who are carrying on an interpersonal relationship, and at the same time there is a mutual business thing at the same, similarly.
So far, no. And you probably would know this better than I would. In fact, probably at the show, I'm going to have to talk to you and tell me what am I going to experience here, because so far there's no problem. And like you say, I'm busy and I'm working all the time, and she's really not. But I have a funny feeling she's going to be very, very busy. And in fact, good friends of mine said, what are you going to do if she gets bigger than you? And I said, well, probably keep her in a house. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't have any idea.
Would that be a difficult proposition? I mean, let's assume for one moment that your wife, the little Mrs. Rose, became a gigantic star.
God, I don't know. It's going to be a problem. I'm sure it is. I don't know what I'll do. Go into aluminum siding or something, because if she becomes bigger than I am, I do have a problem, and I got to deal with it like a mature adult.
Is she here today?
She was supposed to be here, but as you all know, wives, she's not here yet.
Yeah. If she makes it, maybe we'll just take a peek at her. Let's take a little time right here. We're going to go for a commercial. We'll come back with
I'll
Randolph
go find her.
Yeah, where?